I'm not on tracks and rails, I'm definitely still on tracks and trails, but I am on a train and I'm headed north of the city of Belfast. I'm at Mohoro Huiganov and I'm going to meet a man who knows this part of the country like the back of his hand. Today I'm very excited because we are walking the epic North Down Coastal Path. The North Down Coastal Path is situated in County Down, about 20 minutes northeast of Belfast. This part of Northern Ireland is a mix of both scenic and rugged coastline. It passes through various points of interest and has some unexpected and unusual history for these parts. The route hugs the coast from Hollywood to Orlock Point, passing through Cultra and Bangor. I'm doing a section of this walk from Cultra to the city of Bangor. It's approximately 12 kilometres. The walk is mostly paths, with some sections being gravelled trail. It's flat and easy walking. There are numerous on-off points, so all parts can be done in sections. Mark Devenport is well known for his news reporting over the last 20 years. As a BBC editor, he has reported on and been here for all of the major changes and transitions the north of Ireland has gone through. He is a mine of information and has witnessed some very interesting recent history. Hello Mark, how are you?
Hello, lovely to see you, Doireann.
Thank you so much for coming to do this walk with me today.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, well I hear you're the man on the ground, so I'm in great company now to learn all about.
Well, that's the theory anyway, lead on.
We got a great day for it, didn't we?
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Cold but lovely.
Mark, tell me about your career.
Well, yeah, I've been here since 1986. I came out as a trainee journalist thinking I'd just be here for 3 months and the rest is history. And it has been fascinating at a time when we had quite a lot going on here, the 1994 IRA and Loyalist ceasefires and the Good Friday Agreement. So that was incredible to follow because those were historic events. It's been great because in a way the career arc that I've had here has I suppose, been in parallel with changes which at one point, when I first got here, nobody would have thought were possible because back in the mid-80s, most people probably thought the Troubles were just going to go on and on and on and nothing would ever change. And instead, we've seen those kind of changes, and whilst we've still got problems here, it's a much, much better place than when I first came here.
We're starting just outside Cultra. This is a quiet and residential area and the walkway runs alongside the shore with scenic views across Belfast Lough to Carrickfergus. This walk is varied and changes terrain quite a bit, which always makes a trail more interesting for me. The route alternates from hugging the water's edge to weaving slightly inland and through some beautiful coastline scenery. So, do you walk much?
Where I live is quite close to a different loch, Strangford Loch, and we often walk just sort of locally around there. Over the years, I certainly would have done quite regularly, taking a weekend trip to the Mournes or up to Errigal or whatever. So yeah, can't say I walk quite as much as I used to because these days I think I'm in need of a bit more WD-40 on my joints than was the case in the past. But yeah, it's great, and on a day like today, it certainly blows the cobwebs away, doesn't it?
What does it do for you mentally, physically? What do you think?
Well, I think that, you know, getting out and about and seeing a bit of nature, it's always a way to kind of get things in perspective. And in this kind of day and age when, as journalists, we're always kind of like glued to our phone or to our computer screen, I think it just kind of gives you a chance to, I suppose, reevaluate things, do a little bit of thinking, or maybe just not think about anything at all. In terms of history, there's something just up here that I'd like to show you.
Okay.
Take a look up there. Can you see what is on the brow of the hill?
Okay, it looks like a cannon. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, well, this is Great Point Fort. It dates back to 1907, but that cannon, if we had been here in the 1940s, would have been out looking across the loch, trying to guard it against any possible enemy attack. Because whilst when you think of the movies and Saving Private Ryan, which was filmed at Wexford, you think, well, that might be the most that Ireland had to do with D-Day. Actually, the body of water that in real life played a real role in D-Day is here in Belfast Lough. Because if we'd been stood at this point looking out across that water in the 1940s, we could have seen the US battleships pulled up before they set off towards Europe to take part in the D-Day landings. Yeah, this was really a big operational base, and you've got General Eisenhower, the US commander, who would have come to Bangor to inspect the troops, and he'd have taken a little boat out to inspect the battleships as well, wish them well on their way before they headed off towards the landing zones.
I never knew that.
Well, if you're walking along this trail, you can stop and look at some of the signs, and some of the signs have got the old black and white photos, so you can see exactly what it would have looked like. So a bit of real World War II history.
I know, Mark, it's amazing. On all these trails around Ireland, there's such richness of history if you just go looking for it, isn't it?
Yeah. So actually the good thing about the walk is you've got these information boards every so often that you come across, and it really fills in the kind of history of the place, and it makes it all more meaningful in terms of kind of whose shoes you're standing in. But you see some of these particular photos which really bring home what it must have been like in the 1940s. I don't think the cannons that we were looking at actually saw much action, but Belfast, of course, was hitting the Blitz, and there was a massive loss of life there, because even though it was further away from the German bombers than other parts of the UK, when they hit it very badly.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm dumbfounded by the amount of history here.
I find that when I walk trails or hikes around Ireland and I learn the stories and history associated with these trails, it deepens my sense of culture, place and knowledge of the country that I live in.
So it's a bit different the walk here, isn't it, from earlier on?
It is, but it's beautiful. I'm looking out there, I kind of want to go for a swim.
Oh yeah. Well, there's Helens Bay down there. You could jump in, but it might be a wee bit nippy.
So tell me about Helens Bay.
Yeah, well, this is named after Helen, who was Helen Doireann. And actually she was, I think, the granddaughter of Sheridan, you know, Rivals and the School for Scoundrels, famous playwright. And she married a local aristocrat around here, Lord Doireann. And actually Helens Bay and there's a Helen's Tower around here, all named after her. And they're actually a symbol of love, particularly Helen's Tower, of her son to the mother, because she lost her husband at quite a young stage, and then she was raising the son. And that son actually went on to be Viceroy of India. So he's one of these connections of sort of Anglo-Irish families here in North Down. They ended up going around the world and doing all sorts of strange and extraordinary things.
Yeah.
We've been making good progress, haven't we? This bit's Crawfordsburg Country Park we're in at the moment. We've obviously got the beaches over there and more of the loch. Crawford was one of the original undertakers, I think they were called, which means it was one of those families in the plantation that came over in the 1600s. There's a Crawfordsburg Country Inn in the village, which I think is thought to be one of the oldest pubs in Ireland, dates back to the 1600s.
Oh, gorgeous.
Was a place which I think C.S. Lewis stayed in for his honeymoon. C.S. Lewis is a famous son of County Down, of course.
Of course.
C.S. Lewis used to say that his idea of heaven was the city of Oxford, where he lived, set down in the countryside of County Down.
You'd have to get that.
And of course I'm an Oxonian, so I like to think I'm a kind of like second class C.S. Lewis, the County Down man that went to Oxford. I was the Oxford man that went to County Down. So we're coming down now to Brmpton Bay.
Wow.
It's good for a spot of swimming. It's also on the outskirts of the city of Bangor.
Look at this, Mark, it's gorgeous,
It is brilliant around here. There's lots of craggy rock around. Watch yourself on all these rock pools.
Yes, you're right.
Could be a bit slippy.
Some view.
Would be very nippy for a swim. I wouldn't want to go in inadvertently. Look away to the horizon, a few container ships there, and then I think behind them you can see Scotland, not so far away.
That's Scotland on the horizon.
Yeah, you get a real sense here of the North Channel and how close the two islands get at this point. That's County Antrim obviously over there, the rest of the County Down coastline round here, and you'll come round towards Bangor. But Scotland, and if we got further round and had more time to walk, then you could maybe even get to see the Isle of Man.
Yeah, because that's what we call it here, Oscailge Stron and Wheeler. And there's always historically been a great, exchange on that channel between, language and folklore and music and song. And of course, it's so closely related culturally. Glasgow, Belfast, it's like being in the one town, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that probably goes back to that ancient period, doesn't it, when there was one kingdom which spanned the two islands.
You're dead right. Doireann, and I'll tell you something else. I actually have a claim to Doireann. It was said that we were descendants of the last Taoiseach who was in Doireann. So there you go now.
So that makes you a princess, a princess of the ancient kingdom of Doireann.
That's what you're saying.
Well, I'm insisting on it, and if I had that claim, I'd be sticking to it if I were you.
Well, do you know what? If I take one thing from today, I'll take that. So, but I have to continue on my journey. I'm heading to Bangor.
Yeah, you're going to head round, see the marina. I'm just going to nip off home and get warm.
Yeah, very good. Well, look, thank you so much.
It's been lovely meeting you. I've really enjoyed the walk.
Yeah, Garmina Mahagan.
All the best.
Dog Mark. Dog
Bangor is a city situated 22 kilometres northeast of Belfast. Its known history dates back as far as the 6th century to monastic settlements. I'm approaching the end of my walk with a cliff-top view and finishing at the marina in Bangor.
I've had such an enjoyable day exploring the North Down coastal path with Mark Devenport, and I'm struck, as usual, by the amount of history and heritage that is just waiting to be discovered on these trails. You know, I have been to Belfast many, many times, but I had never been this far north, and I'm so impressed with how spectacular the place is. I'm already planning my next trip back.
If you enjoy the show, email us or connect on social media and tell us your story. We'd love to hear about your tracks and trails, especially if it's influenced you in any way. Has it got you out walking? What did it do for you? What were the benefits? Your feedback could inspire our next show.